How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good, but I've got to say... Oh, hang on. Oh!
Well, I'm guessing the score.
Right, but West Ham 1, Southampton 0, and we're in Europe, Mr. Bridger. We're in Europe.
As you can hear in the background there from Rio live at the London Olympic Stadium, West Ham have qualified for Europe because the final whistle has blown and it has finished West Ham United 3, Southampton 0. The Hammers going 3-0 up and managing to hold on to that lead for the first time this season. I think remarkable scenes. The goals coming two in the first half, both coming from Pablo Fornal, scoring in the 30th and the 33rd minute. And then the final goal, putting the icing on the cake, Declan Rice scoring 5 minutes from the end of full time to make it West Ham United 3, Southampton 0. West Ham finish the 2020-21 season in 6th place in the Premier League. We are officially a top 6 club, whatever those bods at the European Super League say. And we are going on a European tour. Gnome, wrap it up for us today.
Well, first 15, 20 minutes, we didn't impress. It's fair to say that. Southampton had some good chances. The one from Minamino that just drifted wide in particular, basically was hard in downtime. But really, from the second we scored, that was it. Southampton kind of... it was like they said, let's go for this. We're not going to put our feet up or go straight to the beach. And then as soon as they went 1-0 down, they just thought, where's that parasol? Anyone got some around here? And two in only a few minutes, it was always going to really rip the heart out of them. One sort of save from Fabianski in the second half, I think. But really, it was comfortable as a pair of old slippers. And, the icing on the cake was Rice's goal, a nice way to cap off a fine season for the player, for the team. He's got the biggest grin you'll ever see on him. Second biggest grin looks like Moyes'. He's basically all his staff and handshakes. Declan Rice is on the interview, so have a chat with Rio for a second.
Will do. Well, you probably can't see this, Rio, from the distance away you are, but there's huge smiles on all the players and David Moyes down there on the pitch. Mark Noble is just running around hugging everyone. I'm sure you can see that as well. But Declan Rice is giving an interview now. But how do you summarise what you've seen today? First of all,
following that opening 20 minutes when we looked very, very sluggish, bit lethargic, I thought we grew into the game really well. Obviously, the goals are going to help, but we looked like a different level after that. We kind of stepped up a gear, and barring that disallowed effort, it was never in doubt, was it? You know, I think Craig Dawson was exemplary at the back, and if had it not been for Pablo Fornal getting 2 goals and an assist, I would have given him man of the match. But for an end of season game where we still needed to get a point, we still needed to assert our efforts. It's very un-West Ham like to be so confident and so assured.
Yeah,
we have no dramas on the final day of the season. It's just so unnatural.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to turn around and throw the pitch. Is that or are we on dodgy ground there?
I think we are. Yeah, we.
I suppose I'm going to do a lap of honour. I'll keep you like that. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Players are doing lap of honour in front of me now. So
all right, good stuff. I mean, a quick flash probably wouldn't hurt, but as long as it is, there aren't any lingering scenes. But there you can see the players doing a lap of honour at the London Olympic Stadium right now. Getting they're just desserts as far as applause from the fans goes. West Ham have finished the season in 6th spot, as we said, 65 points. It is a record points haul for a Premier League season for West Ham United. looking elsewhere, Tottenham, who were our only real challengers on the day for a 6th place finish, have won at the King Power Stadium. They've actually scored a 4th in the 5th minute of added on time. Gareth Bale making it 4-2 for Spurs, who were 2-1 down to give them that Conference League spot in 7th place, just about usurping Arsenal, who were ahead of them at one point on the live league table during the day. Chelsea qualifying for the Champions League as a result of Leicester's defeat, even though they fell to a 2-1 defeat at Villa Park themselves. Declan Rice has just been chatting to Sky Sports. Gnome's been listening to it, and he's going to tell us what Declan had to say.
Rather predictably, he used his standard catchphrase. You can tell I'm buzzing with this phrase, which is standard Riceism. He said, considering where we were last year, this is great, Europa League. The whole squad is buzzing. And, we're really looking forward to that next season. And, he said it was nice to get the goal at the end, particularly as he missed the penalty against West Brom. So, a short and sweet interview, but you can tell that the lad was, the endorphins were flowing, shall we say.
A bit like Said Benrahma when he was about to come on a sub earlier in the game, I think you'll find.
I think that was testosterone, I think you'll find.
You wouldn't have seen that, Rio, but there was a close-up of Benrahma about to come on the pitch, and let's just say looked quite excited about his forthcoming introduction. Fair enough. Rio, 65 points. It's just been an amazing season, isn't it? We've seen every minute of every game pretty much close up. Apart from today for yourself, of course, you've been live you've been there at the stadium. But how do you sort of sum up what you've seen this year? It has to be one of the best, really, as a West Ham fan that we've seen in our lifetimes, isn't it?
It's been strangely different to our last successful season, the Paya era, because it's been a different style of football at times.
Yeah.
But that's not to take anything away from what this club's achieved this season. It's against all the odds. We've harped on time and time again about the threadbare nature of our squad, the fact that we haven't been funded, and everything has been against the odds. We've built an remarkable team spirit. It's been a different style of football at times. Before Christmas, it was very much safety first.
Yeah.
Secure that. Being more secure at the back, more professional. We've ever since I signed Lingard, we've kind of expanded a little bit, and it's brought a whole host of different emotions, hasn't it? We've struggled to hold on to 3-0 leads and terrified the life out of everybody. But we've seen everything from this team this season. We've seen resilience, flair, defensive now, attacking verve, absolutely everything. And it's testament to how well this squad's done. Such a tiny squad that they're all together. They've held on to. It looked a bit touch and go at times, so we won't make this European spot, but we've done it. And I can't praise this whole squad enough. They've done absolutely remarkably well, and they made everyone associated with this club so very proud. I'm absolutely delighted.
So very proud. I think we're all feeling that tonight, Rio. Just looking at that table, Gnome, I know you didn't want to talk about it, but we've missed out on the Champions League in the end by 2 points. It's quite an incredible performance by the Hammers this season, really.
Oh yeah, both talent either way, really, weren't they? From being a bit closer, anyway. This is not the time to go for some recriminations or anything like that. I think today is the day that we actually sit and appreciate what we have done rather than what we didn't do in the end. Another day for turning around and saying, just a little bit more luck. This and that might have happened. Well, yeah, fair enough. But what have we done? We finished sixth. We finished sixth with one of the smallest squads in the league in terms of genuine Premier League quality. I think we've done it with injuries to key players at key times. We've done it. You can't. The smiles on the faces that I'm seeing now. There's there's Rob Pritchard there with the.
Yeah, I spotted him.
Yeah,
Put on a bit of timber, hasn't he?
he has. Yeah.
Like we can talk.
My juice. Yeah, just remember seeing all those years ago in Malta with some shorts on.
Yeah.
that was the pleasant sight. Yeah, I've got no idea as to how the groups will pan out, or who we may or may not, or what the chances of picking up various teams are. Because I've been very good. I haven't even looked at that. As I've said all season, let's see where we end up. But somewhere nice and warm would be nice, sort of for one of the earlier games, before winter sets in.
Yeah. Preferably not Tbilisi again. Somewhere a little bit closer to home would be be nice. But we are joined by the fourth musketeer once again at the end of the game. Another big smile on his face. Another West Ham supporter featuring a big grin this afternoon. Pinky, we're all going on a European tour.
Absolutely.
Tour. Take it away.
Yeah, the common market will be all over Europe. Police forces across Europe will be delirious with joy at seeing the famous West Ham United rocking up in a town near you. But you know what? And so they should be, because this season we've played a mixture of good and less good football. But you know what? We've finished with a 65 points, goal difference of plus 14, sixth spot. There isn't a West Ham fan on the planet, not even the chairman, would actually have said back in August, this is where we're going to finish this season. Very well done by David Moyes and the players. Really great stuff.
Just is there a smidgen of disappointment in there as well, though, Pinky, that we're 2 points? That's all that separated us and Chelsea. One more win and we would have ended up in the Champions League spots. Any sort of,
The tiniest. But look at the clubs that finished above us. At the end of the day, in terms of where the money is in the league, it's above us. And what we've done is we've done it on a shoestring budget. David Moyes has, is there a candidate anywhere near him for manager of the season? Because he's done it on an absolute shoestring in the relative sense. And the players have delivered in spades this afternoon. We've seen every single player in the squad play their part all season. We've coped with injury lists that would cripple bigger clubs than ours. And yet we've got through an adversity. And this afternoon, a very comfortable 3-0 win in the end. Could have been more. And I think the only downside for me is I think we saw what was probably Declan Rice's farewell appearance in a West Ham United shirt. My view, when he came off the field, it looked a bit of a farewell applause to the fans. And I think that's the last we've seen of young Declan, unfortunately. But good luck to him with whatever he decides to do in the future. But we'll be in Europe. And you know what? Don't have to make it a bit easier to attract some players. So good afternoon for West Ham.
I could give you a bit of an update, Pinky. They interviewed Declan straight after, and he was just buzzing about how much he's looking forward to the Europa League next season. So make of that what you will. He was on pure adrenaline when he was talking there. He was, it didn't look to me that was a staged thing. He said he was buzzing. Really buzzing.
That is terrific news, because I tell you what,
Guys, cheers.
Yeah, he is the one true superstar we've got at the club at the minute, and if we can hang on to him, build a team around him, and that sends a really powerful message to the other players if he's willing to stay. So let's hope that's the case. But this afternoon, make no bones about it, we were miles better than Southampton. They'd sort of given up completely, and 3-0 could have been 4 or 5. We were easily the better team on the day. What a terrific season, and whilst I'm not very happy.
And we seem to
have lost 10,000 West Ham here today, and I will give the club credit for that, because there's 10,000 people enjoy their afternoon this afternoon. That's for sure.
Yeah, well done, West Ham United. Great to see 10,000 happy Hammers, delirious Happers back in the stadium to watch West Ham qualify for Europe for the first time in 5 years, is it now? 4 years, 5 years. But Rio is making his slow trudge back to the station from the stadium. I hope Rio can still hear us. But Rio, Europe, we can say it's on now. Are you still with us, Rio? I'm not sure if we've lost him momentarily. I think we have.
Well,
So I'll go to Gnome anyway. But
yeah, do you want some blasts from the forum?
yes, please. Why not? Let's do that. Let's have a look at the forum quickly.
Yeah, Paddy O'Hammer, it's great to be part of the Big Six. Bonzo's beard, I'm over the Champions League. Be gutted if I was a Leicester fan, though. Swiss Tony, a man after my own heart. We are staying up. We are staying up. Here's a phrase we haven't heard from a while. From SH. Overchuffed and proud. Did we get invited to the Super League straight away, or does that happen after the Euros? That's there's some more stuff here. Let's have a look. What's his Brother Nero? What a season! I won't lie. I'm sitting here in floods, thinking about my father who died a few months back. He'd have loved this season. Dad, you'll be up there next season watching our beloved Irons on a European tour. Well, cheers to you, Brother Nero, mate. That's what kind of brings, all the silly comments and all that. Sometimes you forget about the actual sort of human side of things and how much this can mean to on an ordinary human level.
The human side, £6.30 a pint. The human side, I'll give you the human side. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a diabolical price for lager. But you know what? As long as we win 3-0 every week, I'll pay it. There you go. That's my deal with the stadium.
I'm not sure I paid that much for this bottle of champagne that I've just opened. But I have to say, I do live not particularly where I am, but the general area that I live in is rather well heeled, shall we say. And behind the counter in my local off license, they do have a bottle of champagne that retails for the price of £495. But I've just gone for the bog standard one. They don't keep behind the counter. They keep in the fridge that you can actually serve yourself with. So
in my local off license, they keep the baseball bat in case you try and steal the lager. But there you go. That's just different neighbourhoods. Guys, I'm going to love
right,
you.
obviously, Biggie. Yeah, right.
Great season. Well done, West Ham. Brilliant effort by the players this season. And stay tuned. And auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, arrivederci, and whatever it is in Dutch. Cheers, lads. Ta-da.
Ta-da, mate. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe journey home, and we'll catch up again soon. The Pink Palermo live from the London Olympic Stadium for us. Rio as well. Rio seems to have disappeared. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him back at some point. But great to see the lads at the stadium this afternoon, lapping up some of that atmosphere, however diluted it may have been this afternoon. But a great opportunity for the fans to let the players know just how proud we are of them all this season. The whole club, the whole management team, everyone, perhaps not the whole club, but everybody involved with the playing side at least. Don't want to go on a downer today. It's a wonderful afternoon for West Ham United Football Club. Everybody involved with the club. Speaking of which, the manager of that particular football club, David Moyes, has been speaking. I don't know if he's come on Sky Sports yet, but he's been saying one or two things. He said he'd like to say a big thank you to the club for allowing me to get my teeth into the job. Make sure you're all vaccinated. Get your passports out because we're going to Europe. And he also says the players have been unbelievable from day one. We've had some great times this season. Certainly one Gnome that's going to live long in the memory, you would say. Yeah. So many highlights from this season. We do one of the KUMB award categories, which I should point out, KUMB awards voting will be opening up this week within the next 48, 72 hours. One of the categories we have is most memorable match. Now, you're probably looking at Tottenham, I guess, as the one that sort of stands out. But what really have been the main highlights for you this season? Not just that particular game, perhaps, but what else sort of stands out for you from, as we said, it's been quite a remarkable year.
It's more of a general point rather than me sort of pointing out and saying, "Oh, it's that game or that game or that game." I think it's been the fact that we've been a team. Some of the comments on here before my computer decided to refresh. along the watching the team go around the pitch there. Wasn't it great to see what a tight unit they all are and how together they are? That's something we, from time to time, haven't had. And, you credit Moyes for that, but also credit for the senior players for getting that tight-knit that thing in there. I mean, Ben Rama, we think he's not here now, but we've mentioned Ben Rama, who's perhaps not lived up to the transfer fee. But when he scored the other day, you just saw how delighted everyone was for him. And so, that sort of thing going on. 4-0, the stupid grin he had on his face there. And when he scored, literally everybody's over there, aren't they?
Isn't he a bit of a throwback for you? Just touching on Pablo Fornals there quickly. It reminds me of watching players from the 70s. When you used to watch the big match on a Sunday lunchtime, and in the intro, the lead up, you'd have those pictures of Stan Bowles and Georgie Best just laughing as they were playing football.
Players with a smile on their face.
Yeah, exactly. That old cliche, and he really does, doesn't he? And what I've really enjoyed watching, I think, as far as the players are concerned, every time we score a goal, you watch Pablo Fornals, and he's like a kid over the park when one of his mates has just scored a goal. He's fist pumping and he's punching the floor and jumping in the air. It's just so refreshing and great to watch in these cynical times, I guess.
Yeah. It is a joy to watch. Maybe that's got as much to do with maybe some of the people who are no longer at the club. I don't know. It's often been said that things improved with the departure of certain players. Maybe not. But it is a joy to see. I do love. I'm going back, and the guy never really made it. But when you see sort of unadulterated joy on a player's face, just remember. If you remember A.D. Coker's debut at Crystal Palace, I think it's 69.
The Spurs goal. The first goal.
Yeah, and just his debut. He scores on debut. I think it was a late replacement for Hurst that day as well.
Yeah,
and just a pure unadulterated. It was like watching a kid who'd scored, and it's And
it is actually you've mentioned that, and that's a really good shout, I think, because it's just like Fornals, that isn't it? It's like the fist pumping, and it's very much that. But I don't think he scored many more after that, did he, AD Coker? Before
no, he did score one against Spurs, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
That was I've got a long story about that particular game. I think if you go back, there was footage of me. We stood on the West Terrace, as it was then. And I'm not all that tall. Well, you can imagine what I was like at the age of 8 or 9, however old I was there. And we had a friend over. Stuart was over from South Africa, so there was me, Stuart, and Dad watching this game. I got no way of seeing the game. They had an umbrella that they were holding between them, and I was sat there for 90 minutes. They were holding up. So. Great memories of that day. To meet Brian Moore and Jimmy. And just a great day for a 9 or 10-year-old.
Fantastic.
We had somebody at the club, a guy called Alec Maguire, who was the club's auditor at the time, just into the director's bar. But before that, he showed us all around the changing rooms and all that. And the Tottenham skipper was massively great Welshman called Mike England, and me being a cheeky little work of a 9-year-old or whatever it was, as he's walked by, I've got 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and Mike England swore at me. And my dad's not the tallest of guys and all that, but my dad said, "Oi, apologise." And Mike England very sheepishly says, "Sorry, son." And then my dad clipped me around the ear for being a cheeky little son. But yeah, it's that 9-year-old innocence, joy. The fact is that you look down there and he's getting paid 30, 40, 50,000. Well, I don't know what they get paid these days. The fact is that he's got the same smile on his face as I had, getting paid nothing for scoring for Midland Bank and Civil Service all those years ago. It's the same big stupid grin. And just sorry, another one of these comments. Bonzo's beard has got 51 years old and trying to enjoy players going around the pitch. But I've got a bit of grit in my eye, apathetic. And it's that sort of thing. So
it is. It absolutely is. We're all feeling that today. I mean, I think however old you are, it's a great day for West Ham United. One of the fans who's been there, one of the lucky 10,000 who was able to enjoy it live from the stadium was Rio, and our man joins us on the stream once again, been in and out, but we're delighted to have him back. Rio, you're not in the stadium now. We did manage to see you sneaking away before your stream. Where are you now, buddy?
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Someone talking my. What is now known as the last drop, which is formerly known as a podium bar, which is just opposite the stadium, and the aquatic centre.
Yes.
Yeah, the last season the supporters club Rio came. This season I couldn't find anywhere else that was open, and this is the nearest thing. It's my first drop over here for a long time, because as Gnome would tell you, because used to or after game for a little couple of bits the last season we was allowed in. But I kind of dropped off the radar a little bit. But yeah, I'm hopefully back now. Just enjoying a well-earned point.
There you go, mate. Cheers.
To Pinky and to all the people watching, good health.
Good health, everybody. Indeed. Rio, I was asking Gnome a few minutes ago about, as I said, one of the categories in our annual KUMB awards is most memorable match, and there's been plenty of amazing moments this season, but we said that the Tottenham game is going to be clearly one of the highlights, if not the highlights. And in the end, it proved Manny Lanzini's goal proved to be enough to ensure we finish above Spurs and take us into Europe. But looking back at the season itself, what really stands out for you? What particular highlights, have been your favourites from the last 8 or 9 months or so?
My actual favourite moment, obviously the Tottenham away, it was the last 15 minutes were monumental, weren't they? Monumental, sorry. On the stream when we did, I went and unfortunately I was just shy of getting that, because we was 3-0 down at the time, or 3-1. Close to that. But so that's my favourite game for this whole season. It's probably Leicester away.
Yeah.
Because there is a team that for quite a long time flying, and we just went there and we tore them apart. We absolutely devastated them. And it's the first time in ages that we're evidence of what we've seen throughout this year, is our free-flowing nature. When we hit on the counter-attack, we do it with real venom. There's that fabulous goal by by Pablo Fornals, and the final goal to the 3-0 victory was just a masterpiece. So, yeah, to go to the Walker Stadium and absolutely give a sign, absolutely flying. We gave them an absolute hiding, and it was something to be really proud of. But there's been a few games. I mean, there's 2 3-all draws that would stick out. I mean, obviously, we just mentioned the Tottenham up White Hart Lane. But for the other reason, at the opposite end of the spectrum, is the Arsenal game at home. The first 45 was absolutely battering them. If you're going to look in hindsight and put a modelling effect on today's events, that's the game that cost us. But we should have won that, not only because we went 3-0 up, but also because Antonio hit the post in the second half. But yeah, I don't want to put too much of a negative spin on today's events and on the whole season. But it's been fantastic performances. The first half against Manchester United at our ground, we absolutely ripped into shreds, and they're on the verge of winning Europa League, because they've got an easiest kind of final in theory, and they've qualified for the Champions League. But we absolutely destroyed that Manchester United side beyond recognition. The game at home to Tottenham, it wasn't the prettiest in the end. We was hanging on, but it's always nice to beat them, and the goals we scored were converted with some flair and some verve. beating Wolves at home 4-0. Away wins at Burnley, again at Wolves. You know, playing with some standing football. There's been so many positives. And if you want to, an old school David Moyes started it, the 1-0 win up at Goodison Park, a place where it's been an absolute graveyard for us over the years.
Yep.
We controlled that game, and to get that late winner, and then to discover that Thomas Soucek loves and thrives on potato salad. I mean, what more do you want?
Yes, the things you learn. Yeah, I guess that would be one of the highlights of the season. I mean, and of course, Gnome, you know, it's all turned out really well, but my gosh, it couldn't have started much worse, could it? You know, let's go all the way back to the 12th of September 2020, Newcastle United at home. We went into the season with renewed optimism, having stayed up, you know, last year, just about, and we put in one of the most insipid, dire, dreary displays you've ever seen from a West Ham team, let alone David Moyes, and fell to a 2-0 defeat. And there we all were. I mean, I think if we roll the stream back, you can probably hear us at the end talking about, you know, here comes another relegation battle. Talk about lull us into a full sentence of security.
Yeah. Sorry, just try to remember how the result went. So we lost to Newcastle. Who were next? Is it Arsenal next, or am I?
We lost to Arsenal, didn't we? 2-1, narrowly beaten, yeah, and that late goal.
We played quite well there, I thought, and we're a bit unlucky to lose that. And then I think then we went up to Leicester. Quite early on.
We had in between. We were kind of playing EFL Cup, Carabao Cup games, weren't we? In between, we beat Charlton and Hull, and then we went. Yeah, the third game of the season, we played Wolves at home, and it was that period, wasn't it, when it started to. We started to think, well, hang on a minute, this is quite interesting. We beat Wolves, went to Leicester, which was the one which blew us all away. I think, and then of course went to Tottenham 3-0 down. You know, we thought it was another false stall, and then came back to do that, and then Man City held Man City.
Newcastle, we were not good. Arsenal, we all came away thinking, well, actually, we're a bit unlucky there. But my thought was then that you can go for a whole season, but if your luck's not in and you're not getting points when you ought to win, things like that, or your luck tends to sort of carry on bombing, doesn't it? Well, that sort of thing. And then say we beat Wolves, as you say, and that was a good win and all that. Of course, we went up to Leicester, and I think that's been the difference this season. In the past, we've gone and done things like you go and win a game. You'd have a tough win somewhere you wouldn't have been expected to get a win, maybe Chelsea, for example. So, and then you'd have whoever's bumping along the bottom the next week and struggle. This season, as the season progressed, if we had a win, I wasn't suddenly expecting the wheels to come off the following week. And, by and large, that was quite a good theory to have, because by and large, they didn't. Yeah. And, I think we've looked a lot more professional, as some of these people have said, this season. And, you've gone in sort of expecting the team play well rather than hoping that they might.
Yeah.
And, there have been days when we haven't. And, but then, it's a 38-game season. You're never going to play well for 38 games on the trot. Even Manchester City have had off days. Yeah. But, there were things to sort of take out, even games we lost. I mean, when we went up to Man City, we only lost it 2-1, wasn't it, as I recall? Yes. And, that's probably the toughest game. Even Leicester, when they beat them 5-2, was a bit of a freak result up there. And, that was probably one of the toughest games they had all season. And look how far ahead they ended up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
It's, as I say, hats off to Moyes. He's got a team there. He's got a team, literally a team, as we were saying earlier on, Rio, before we came on. You just had to see when Fornell scored, the stupid grin that he had, the stupid grin that every other player had, and he's got that team spirit. Yep. That you can't just sort of invent that. That comes by people working together as a unit, and it's. Yeah, so
Okay, good stuff. Go on,
so
good
I'm
stuff.
just looking a bit more. Some other stuff's come on the brother Nero's got a text from a former work colleague who supports Leicester. I'll use the word messed up. Messed up top 4 2 seasons running. Rodgers has to be sacked. Not good enough.
Hard life at the top, isn't it? Eh? Hard life at the top.
Yeah,
Rio.
we finished behind them.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
Look at the difference.
Rio. Sorry. No,
Go on, yeah,
just,
go on.
no mention there that we've got a team. We really do have a team. Moyes has got a team together there. We have got a team, but the question is, have we got a squad, and have we got a squad capable of challenging in Europe next season?
No, in short terms. And it's something I pointed out on the forum the other week, well, probably during the week. This summer, we've got 3 of our key players who are not going to get a break. We've got Soufal, Soucek, Declan Rice going straight into the European Championships.
Yep. On
top of that, we've got European games like Europa League. It's a really hefty work rate. It's a workload that for the squad we've got. And our 3 of our key players are not going to get a break this season. We've been lucky that they've lasted as well as they did. I hope Declan got that injury towards the end of the season, but those 3 players have got to be really carefully managed. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves struggling domestically because the toll will hit us. Yep. So unless we invest wisely in the summer, it doesn't have to be fortunes. I mean, I trust David Moyes to recruit the right players at the right price. We need the chairman to kind of loosen his purse strings a little bit and back his manager, because he'll bring in the quality needed in the areas needed.
How much does he need, Rio? Do you think? I mean, what would be a minimum? You know, we know roughly what a decent player costs, a midfielder, a goalkeeper. You know, you're looking at 10 million plus for a keeper, striker, anywhere upwards from 30 million plus. How much does he need realistically to make that squad capable of putting in a decent challenge? I mean, and let's not forget, in order to challenge for Europe, you've got to have a side that's capable of still performing in the Premier League, can't you? You know, it doesn't need 15 or 16. You need 22 players plus, really, to make a decent effort in both.
Well, trying to put a figure on it, it's very difficult because we don't know how the transfer market's going to pay out over this COVID malarkey. I was going to say I can't see the prices being as extortionate as they have been in recent years because the money just isn't there. But it will dictate it still will be. The likes of PSG, City, they seem to have money flying about still. So it's a really hard one to go. Looking at it, I mean, as you said, we definitely need 2 more strikers. We definitely need 2 central midfielders. We definitely need a left back and a goalkeeper. Now, off the top, that's 7, 8 players. Plus, anyone who leaves has to be replaced. If we're going to make a good go of all compositions, we have to replace who leaves. It's going to take a lot of juggling around with wage bills and because 35 million, 50 million, which clearly is nowhere near enough. Unless the Bosman market is there. But anyone on the free transfer is going to be chased by virtually every club on that chasing pack. So
And what about
comes into play? Sorry, mate.
No, go on. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's very hard one to gauge in terms of actual. You go and spend it because it's unworthy. This summer of all summers is probably. It's the hardest one to gauge because COVID fallout, for one. Then you get the inflated market, European Championships, because players who perform well in that, their price rockets.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to gauge.
Okay. No, two key players in the second half of this season at least. Declan Rice, Jesse Lingard. Pinky said he felt that Rice may have played his last game for West Ham just after the final whistle. You mentioned that, you know, he'd given an interview saying how much he was looking forward to featuring in the Europa League next year. So Jesse Lingard, though, do you see either or both of those playing for West Ham still at this time next season?
I'd like to think both of those will be at West Ham this time next season. I'm that Lingard will be. Just comments that were attributed to him, and I haven't read the full interview, so again, these things can be taken out of context, I suppose. But there was you know, just seemed like the comments he made were thanks again to be back on track. But you know, playing as well as he did for most of his time, with you know, that's something that Man United won't have missed. And I think that might well end up sort of pricing him out of our price range.
Okay.
There are other teams might want to come in for him that are richer than us. Rice, I think, will be there next year. So I'm sort of, as I mentioned last week, I worry that the figure that I will that I would accept for Rice is significantly greater than that the club might do. But I want to get off this, though. Are they going to be here next year? What we need to do next year? Because I actually want to go back to just celebrating what we've done this year. All right. Yeah, I'm big as critic as anybody of the ownership and things like that. But I don't think this is a time for that.
Okay.
You know, tell me I'm talking rubbish if you like.
No, it's fair enough. But I mean, you know, we are. I'm sure people will be talking about this now. You know, now we've qualified, and now the 6 places in the bag. People will look ahead to. You know, I'm sure the transfer thread will be going wild from this evening on the KUMB.com forum, for example.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm just looking at this as, you know, if we'd all been able to be there, you know, we'd be in the pub, we'd be talking about this game, we'd be laughing at Tottenham, of course, because, well, that's what they're for. But, you know, it's I just want to really sort of celebrate this. I'll tell you what, a comment that, you know, something that we've kind of said a bit, but I don't think I've seen it encapsulated quite so well, was on the forum here, Danny Boy, DJL. That lap of honour was emotional. We've had a lot of, and I'm presuming that's crap. I think we're allowed crap, aren't we?
Yeah, I'll let you have that one.
Yeah, okay. Rubbish over the last few years. But this is the line. That was one of the nicest moments I can remember from a really likeable group of players and staff. And I think, Danny Boy, I think you've hit the nail on the head there with that, because when you look at that bunch, you know, you look at them and you see them, as I say, being a team, and yeah, the four nails grin, the Declan Rice, the young man, as he put it, buzzing, as he always says. You know, you look at them, you think, yeah, they look good blokes, don't they? I mean, and Soucek and his potato salad, you know, it does look a really good, likeable bunch.
And I think what's also key, Rio, you know, continuing on from what Gnome's saying there, is that not only has this been, you know, they are a decent bunch of blokes, and you look at them and you think they'll probably be a good bunch to go out on the night with, but the way we've done it as well, no history on it, no diving, no cheating, and as West Ham perhaps proved to the rest of the Premier League in some way that, you know, you can achieve results and go forward without having to resort to the dark arts.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 Czech lads to come in, I think, mentality, but an ethos, because if you want to foul someone, right, we've seen it this season with Jack Grealish. If you breathe within 15-metre radius of him, he's going to go down on his knee. Zaha, who whinges about everything and goes down cheaply. You Soufal's head off and Soucek's knee off, like, to actually get a reaction from them, to make them think, oh, they might be in trouble there. You know, we're doing everything by the book. You know, small squads, small budget, but a big personality, a big work ethic, professionalism that I haven't seen at West Ham for quite many a year, to be honest. You know, it's just a delight to watch. I'd also like to just go eking back a couple of moments ago. You've just said that Pinky has claimed while I was en route to this bar that Declan played the last game for us. Yeah. Now this was Mr.
Yes, he felt that might have been. Yeah.
He was Mr. on Wednesday night, Mr. Funbus, because we was a bit dubious and a bit apprehensive. So Mr. Funbus was like, as he said, dare I say, as Pinky parked the bus, because like it's all gone wrong. He's put doubt in my mind. We've had a fantastic day until you said that.
Well, what I did say was that because I had this having interview that Declan gave literally seconds after the final whistle, you know, that he do have a order. And he was talking about what a great bunch of lads it was and how he and they were looking forward to the league. So, and it was pure, say is the phrase before the season, pure adrenaline that was coming out of Declan's mouth there. He was, as he put it, buzzing. It wasn't a case of standing there and he's thinking about what he's saying. It came, whatever he was saying was straight from his heart.
Yeah.
That didn't sound like, to me, that somebody who's got plans to go. Now, as we all know, it can often be the case that players move when they want it to go. But I certainly, from that impression, I mean, bless him. He's a lovely lad and all that. I may do this. It doesn't seem the sort of
Cynical,
most academic, shall we say. So he was actually saying what he was saying as part-time actor. Well, I don't think he's got that in him to do that. That was pure honesty, pure adrenaline, pure from the heart. So whatever else might happen, as far as he's concerned, he's playing Europa League football next season.
Okay, good stuff. We shall see, of course. We'll find out very soon if Declan Rice is going to be at West Ham next year. But the signs are definitely good from what we've seen this afternoon. Let's talk about Rio. Let's talk about the man who's been at the core of all this, the conduit that's sort of kept it all together and tied it all into one very functional team. The manager, David Moyes, pilloried previously at Manchester United at Sunderland, came in as a firefighter, did a great job first time round, allowed to leave the club by the board and replaced by Manuel Pellegrini, and came in to save the club last year. This season, incredible stuff, completely turned it around. Is he a legitimate shout for Manager of the Year this year?
Absolutely. If he doesn't win it, I'd be devastated, to be honest. It's very easy manage teams and win awards for winning titles and winning cups when you are funded by basically an oil-rich nation. No, Pep Guardiola has got every riches at his disposal in the footballing sense. Look at not just the transfer budget he has. Look at the facilities he's working amongst. You know? Look at the calibre of players he inherited, let alone has developed and David Moyes is doing what he's done at West Ham on an absolute shoestring budget, dealing with, shall we say, notoriously difficult. So difficult, in fact, that as soon as a kind of a, shall we say, a sexier, more desirable option come along, shutting out the door quicker than you could keeping us up. He's done miracle work here. You know? He won Manager of the Season, I think, when he got Everton into the top four, didn't he, a few years back?
Right.
You know? So if he doesn't get it for cajoling us into sixth place league, when everyone above him, far more money at their disposal, better facilities, easier to work for employers. You know? I mean, the man's a miracle worker, in my opinion. And when he came back the second time, I was like, what the hell are we doing? But he's proved me wrong. He's proved the bulk of the West Ham support wrong. I can't sing his praise enough of what he's achieved with his at this club. Absolutely, it's borderline miracle work.
No, Rio says David Moyes is a borderline miracle worker. I can't believe what he's achieved. Do you think, I don't think there's any West Ham supporter out there really who would have thought this is the kind of impact he would have on the club a second time. I mean, to take West Ham into Europe is some achievement. To do it having narrowly escaped relegation 12 months ago I think Rio's absolutely right. It's a borderline miracle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And before you answer that, let me just say David Moyes has been talking. Just on Declan Rice, I'll let you fill in the gaps as per usual, but just on Declan Rice himself, Moyes has said, I don't think David Sullivan, David Gold or myself have got any intention of losing Declan Rice this summer. We've just qualified for Europe. He has been a big part of that, and we want him to be a big part next season. So David Moyes there on Declan Rice, and Gnome on David Moyes.
Yeah. You go back long enough when he was first appointed. I got dragged out for my lunch break by ITV it was cold, it was wet, and I was interviewed outside, and I was not impressed. How many years ago, the first time he came, I put it out. Nobody ever said, "Oh, good, we're playing a great David Moyes team." I look forward to this. And put my hand up. I said that then, and he's completely and utterly proved me wrong, and I'm so glad for him. Quite apart from anything else, having spent time in his presence and his company, a little bit more than most around here. I actually, ignoring what he does for a living, I think, I actually really like the guy because he comes over to me as a genuine, honest bloke that, we were talking about Allardyce in midweek and his dig at Antonio, for example. And, you and I have both been there where he's come out with he's come into a press conference having spent 10 minutes looking at his laptop and digesting some stats. And, where there's been some bloody awful football. And Allardyce has, somebody said, is that really sort of the sort of football that you think the fans expect around here? Well, I don't know what they want. There were so many shots, 3 of which were on target. It wouldn't surprise me if he was the inventor of the expected goals ratio or whatever that thing is, just to try and prove something that wasn't happening. You'd never get that from David Moyes. If you came into a game or a press conference after a game with him, and it was a stinker, he'd say that was a stinker. That wasn't good enough. He wouldn't try to gild the lily, and it's just because of that, really, more than anything else. Having seen a long succession of West Ham managers over the past 15 years, when one was allowed in for those sort of things, Bilic struck me as being sort of similar ilk. I felt generally sorry for Bilic. Honest, but when things turned out, the way they did. Zola was a terrible manager, but a lovely guy, sort of thing. And you want the lovely guys to do well. If Allardyce is managing your team, you want Allardyce to do well. But when he's not doing well, what you don't want him is to stand up and tell you that he is.
Which he used to do on a frequent basis, of course.
So I'm really, really pleased for the guy. I think he's a really good stand-up bloke, and humble pie. Oh, right up there. He's proved me completely and utterly wrong, and even apologies due. Sorry, David, not need to be watching this, but thank you for proving me wrong. As I say, hallmark of a David Moyes team is that they're a team. And his previous successes would have been at Everton. and they were always a team.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, far too often in the past we've had 11 players, but no team. You know, so
yeah, definitely a team effort.
Get back into the forum just for one person.
Okay.
Because I think we ought to mention him on the grounds that he's somebody called Gaz has put his first post in.
Good lad.
First post ever. So I just think we ought to honour that. Long time West Ham supporter since my dad told me who we support way back in the 70s. First time poster, but I wanted to add my voice to those mentioning the team spirit in the lap of honour. It brought a tear to my eye, if I'm honest. But don't tell the missus. Lovely touch with the Czech flags as well. Can't wait for next year. Welcome on board, Gaz. Welcome to the Madhouse.
Great stuff from Gaz. I was just about to go. Oh, Rio is there. He's still there. Just very quickly, just very quickly before I come back to Rio, just a few comments from Saints Web, the Southampton forum. We have been following. Really posted a lot from there, but this afternoon it's really been a celebration of West Ham, hasn't it? This afternoon, rather than a touch of Schadenfreude and laughing at the opposition. But they're not happy down on the south coast, as you would expect. Ted here, one of the posters there, says Bednarek shares much of the blame today. But West Ham wouldn't have scored if Jan had not let Rice had a clear run at goal. Talking about the final goal, shows just how both our main centre backs are. Botley Saint says, "Well, I'm glad it's over. We've had some poor finishes to the season before, but this one feels particularly bad as we've been bottom, or we've shown bottom of the table form since January. The noises coming from the club about changing things are not a good sign. We fear the worst moving forward. But at least we'll be in the Premier League for one more year. They certainly will." Dave Fizzy 14 says, "Such a disappointing display today. All 3 goals were gifted to the opposition. We need some big investment in the summer." I fear that will be a common theme amongst all 20 Premier League clubs, including the 3 that are going to be joining us next season. Could it be Brentford even? I don't think Brentford will be playing in the Premier League next year. Manuel says, "Yeah, it'd be handy for Pinky, wouldn't it?"
In Swansea, so I haven't been at their new ground yet. So purely self.
That'd be good.
And also in memory of Dave Evans, of course, who was a big Brentford supporter.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Dave from the Newham Recorder, who we sadly lost earlier this year. Manuel, Saints fan, says, "Boom and bust with Ralph Hasenhüttl. We need someone to steady this ship, starting with the owner." Cloggy Saint says, "Well, I'm, for one, reasonably happy with the season. We didn't get relegated, and that's my ambition each season before a ball is kicked. I look forward to another 10 months of bedwetting on this forum next season." But Haddock, on a different note, says one of the darkest seasons in the last 20 years. I get the feeling he hasn't been a Southampton fan for that long. Anyway, a real mixed bunch on the Southampton forum. Saints Web this evening. We'll be bringing the best and the very worst of that via tomorrow's opposition view. If you tune into KUMB, look on the front page where all the latest West Ham news can be found. And has been posted for the last 24 years or so. I have a bit of an archive over there now at KUMB. We're going to end the stream this afternoon by looking ahead, as we always do. We haven't got any more games left this season to look ahead to. What we have got to look ahead to is a European tour next season. Yes, we're back in Europe. The Hammers are in the Europa League. The question is, Rio, I guess, is... Can we do better than we have done before? I mean, our previous forays into the Europa League have been very, very short. Even the UEFA Cup, I think, going back to the Palermo trip and those kind of things. We've not done very well, have we, traditionally? At least we'll get a few games this time around, I suppose.
Yeah, it's guaranteed group stage, so we're laughing at 6 games already, 3 trips. I think the first we got in the UEFA's the second round, wasn't it? Because we beat... Was it? Then lost the Star.
Meant to get through, and we beat...
It was HJK Helsinki, Heerenveen and Metz in the Toto. Beat Osijek in the first round, lost to Star in the second.
That's the Croatian team, wasn't it? That's right.
Yeah. And the last 2 times, actually. And what is it with epoxy Romanian teams? As long as we don't play a Romanian team, we're going to win the bloody lots.
Well, did you see? Apparently, last night, Astra lost their game, and they're not in the Europa League this year. So, small, something to take heart from, I guess.
A little chant. to me earlier on, Astra Gugu, we're coming for you. And sadly, we're not, you know. But I quite like Ryan. You know, Georgie Hedge is one of my favourite players of all time. But if we play a Romanian side, it is game over, isn't it? You know.
Yes, definitely.
We're going to win the whole bloody lot if we don't play Romanians.
Do you? I mean, you know, we don't really know. We don't really know who we're going to come up against. But I mean, do you think West Ham can make the group stages? And you know, who knows? Make the knockout phase and perhaps go even further next year. I mean, I guess a lot depends on what the squad looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the squad is a major thing. But again, it's who you're drawn against. I don't know how quite it works. The whole competition, haven't they? So I don't. If we'll be seeded, which I presume we are because of our league coefficient. Drawn against, isn't it? I mean, I was looking at some of the teams who qualified, and you're looking at some of the teams mentioned in this competition, and there's some plum draws there, which we obviously won't get because they don't want us in Europe. So we'll probably get Bangor City, Maccabi Tel Aviv, and Aberdeen. You know? So. But no, it's possible. Now, I think knockout stages, and once you get the knockout stages, anything can happen. As you know, anything can happen.
Yes, indeed. I can throw some dates at you for next year's or next season's competition. The first match day one is the 16th of September, and match day two the 30th of September. There's one in October on the 21st, two in November, the 4th and the 25th, and the final group match day is the 9th of December before the knockout round playoffs begin on the 17th of February, and then of course who knows where you can go. Gnome, Europa League next season is. What is it now? 11 years since we were last in Europe. I mean, and that was a pre-season tour. I didn't make the brief forays into Europe a few years back. But what do you reckon for West Ham this year? Could we get out of the group phase and perhaps go into the knockout phases?
I mean, to stick a little bit to my. I'm worried about that tomorrow thing. Yeah, Rio's right. I mean, it's going to be so dependent on what sort of draw we get. That when I last looked, there were all sorts of names being thrown in that were possible entrants into the Europa League. Juventus was one. I don't know how they've finished up. I think it's their last day today as well. So, yeah, favourable draw. We obviously could, but at the risk of excuse me, going somewhere I said I wouldn't go. We're going to need a bigger boat, as they said in Jaws. It's we had comments the other week about well, if we get to Europe, maybe we'll need some new players, maybe we won't, and then the follow-up comment to that was something on the lines of, well, we ain't got any money, so if we do need players, we're going to have to do it on the cheap, sort of thing. Now, there's no disgrace in picking up people on the cheap if you're looking at Soucek and Soufal, for example. But I just remember all those years ago when I think we ended up in a pre-season tour in Czechia, as it's called now, Czech Republic, Czechia, new name. And we came back with a striker that they had called Michelanda.
Michelanda, yeah.
This was with when Pardew and Peter Grant was in there, and I was at a sort of Q&A session with Pardew, and Pardew and Grant were there, and people were saying, "What's this Michelanda like?" And Pardew said, "Well, he's raw, but he's keen. He's raw. He's got good presence. He was struggling for an upper word." And Grant turned around and said, "He's cheap." And that kind of said it all. It was, never mind the quality, feel the wit, sort of thing. And I think quite apart from anything else, the cheap is one thing in terms of cost, but you need players of a quality, and whoever's spotted Soufal and Stuchek earned their paycheck, if you pardon the pun, for that year's work. So we can do well in Europe. I wouldn't like to say we win the damn thing, because
of course
that may be an ask too far already. But at the moment I'm just sort of like so just breathing it all in. That's of course one thing we know is we won't be drawn against Tottenham because they're not in it.
No, of course the Spurs qualified for the new European competition. Well, look, I can tell some of the teams that have definitely qualified for the Europa League next year. We're going to wrap this up very, very shortly, but before we do, we'll have a quick look at the teams. Juventus are in there. Paris Saint-Germain, according to this resource I'm looking at here, are in there as well, which seems a bit odd. But anyway, Bayer Leverkusen, Lazio of Serie A, Braga of Portugal, Eintracht Frankfurt. Now there's a blast from the past. Qualified. Leicester City, of course, finished 5th in the Premier League, or missed out on the Champions League. It'd be interesting to see how their fans take that one, given the way they reacted to losing to West Ham a few weeks ago. Lokomotiv Moscow are in there. West Ham United, of course, we know that. Real Sociedad and Real Betis from La Liga. The 5th place team in Ligue 1 will also qualify, as will 10 winners from the playoff round. Some of those teams include AZ, Fenerbahce, Zorya Luhansk. I don't even know who Zorya Luhansk are. I believe they're a Ukrainian team. Sturm Graz of Austria, Randers.
Oh, there's a Denmark. Yes. People of a certain age, all my sort of knowledge of European geography comes from knowing where football teams. Sturm Graz were one. They were always never won much or anything in Europe, but they were always one of those teams that used to come up in the UEFA Cup and or the Intercities Fairs Cup that preceded it.
No, that's going back a few years.
Yeah, I've actually we mentioned a while back. I haven't got it to hand actually. I'd have shown you it, but my mate, my good mate who passed away recently, Dave, who's the big Newcastle supporter. I think one of his favourite photographs is a picture of him in he's wearing a dinner suit, bow tie sort of thing, with the old Fairs Cup, which it's the last thing Newcastle won back in 1969, and Newcastle put that photograph into their programme for the Arsenal game as a sort of mentioning that he passed away. And we at the funeral the other week, we all got given a copy of that programme, which was a nice touch. So it'd be nice to win it for his memory, just because I always used to kid him that the last trophy they won was so long ago. It wasn't just their shirts that were in black and white.
That's true. That's true. Well, I mean, it's a nice note to end the stream and the season on. In fact, we've, many people have lost family members over the last year. It's been a horrendous year for everyone, not just football fans, but everyone. COVID, lockdown, all that sort of stuff. It's been absolutely dreadful. So, and it's often said, isn't it? Football can give something back, and especially us as West Ham fans, we've had a fantastic year on the field, and and as we all know, people very, very close to us, especially on KUMB, have had some dreadful news and a tough year, and it's nice that football can put a smile on your face after everything that sort of happens. I guess is what I'm trying to say, my jumbled up method of doing so. But that's it. That's it from us for the season. It's been an interesting year. We spent the season communicating with you via these live streams rather than face to face at the ground. It's been a brilliant year for West Ham United. We've ended it in the top 6. We thought for a minute we might be finishing in the top 4 and being in the Champions League next year. Let's be honest, it probably would have been a step too far for us at this stage of our redevelopment. And it's probably good that we've ended up in the Europa League, even though we were just 2 points away from a top 4 finish. That's how fantastically David Moyes and his squad have done this season. I just want to say a few thanks. I mean, to my friends and colleagues here at KUMB, to Gnome and to Rio, and to the Pink Palermo who've joined me on this journey this year. It's, you know, it always is, as it has been for the last 20 years. It's been an absolute pleasure going on this journey with you, watching West Ham, talking about West Ham, as it has with everyone else who's been with us on the live streams. We're so grateful for your support. We've really enjoyed watching the games with you. A couple of people have said they'd like us to do it next year if we possibly can. Well, don't rule that out yet, because it's a possibility. We're looking at how we can maybe continue it next year and do it again. So as far as that's concerned, it's a watch this space. I'm going to let the boys say a few words if there's anything you'd like to say. So, Rio, I'll come to you first. Sum up the season for us, buddy, and this year as a whole.
I'll put it very succinctly and short. It's been absolutely magical, isn't it? It's been amazing. In what has been the hardest season to deal with emotionally, because we're not there. We can't watch every game relentlessly now. To experience it with yourself and Gnome, Pinky, the other guys, everyone watching, it's been different, but it's been absolutely bloody fantastic. And it wasn't I'm going to sing your praise here, Greg, because I know you don't like doing it, but you've kept me going throughout this season, because you hosting this and doing this service for not just us, right? It's for a lot of other people, and it's in. So, Razor's host you, mate. Thank you very much. It's been amazing. As for the club, I said it earlier on, we've outperformed ourselves. Fantastic. So, West Ham United, up the junction. Listen to you. Cheers, guys.
You're going to get me going in a minute, mate. I'm going to have to stop. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Final summary from the final game of the season.
Yeah, big girls loud, Rio. Seriously, this is something that my mum always says on these about me and football, is that you're 60 years old now. Isn't it about time you grew out of this? And clearly, you work a lot of the day. Everybody works. People work their butts off and all that. And football is some sort of release safety valve and all that. And of course, not being able to go, it affects us all. The fact that even though I can't go, I've got something I look forward to in a football match, even if it's just sitting talking complete twaddle for 90 minutes. It's I talk it so nobody else has to, I suppose, is my thing. But seriously, no, I mean, the website as well is obviously been a big part of my life for the last how many years and all that. And it's just been a lot of fun to do this. It really has. It's a shame Pinky isn't here. We could have had 5 minutes about how he hates everybody and he never wants to see us again. But no, it's a pleasure. I mean, just the website as a whole, I've met so many good friends over here. I mean, you two guys, Pinky, people that 30 years ago we didn't know and are now sort of firm friends. And I hope people have enjoyed watching this. I mean, people say they do, but obviously the ones who clearly don't slag us off. So we probably had them put to sleep or something. It's just been a great laugh. It's been a wonderful season. It's been a good laugh doing this. And here's to next year. And well, teach the sods for not giving us any points last night.
I'll drink to that. That is it. Thank you, Gnome. Thank you, Rio. Thank you to Pinky. Thank you to all of you for joining us throughout the season. As I said, it's been an absolute hoot. We've had a wonderful time. That's it from Eyes Up Mother Brown for another season. KUMB TV. West Ham United have qualified for the Europa League. We are top 6. Europe, here we come. Bring it on. Don't know what else to say, really. Just been a brilliant day, isn't it, really? And just, wraps up a brilliant season. That's about it. All I can say is that one's for Romford this afternoon. Our mate, Big Chaz. God bless you, Chaz. And God bless you all out there as well. We'll see you all very soon.
Going to do the hammer sleeve for the first time.
There you go. Look at that. There is a first. Take care all. See you all again very soon. Have a wonderful summer.
Cheers. Bye all.
Right, so we're here in the offices of a Late Late Show with the host of a Late Late Show, James Corden.
Hi.
Big West Ham fan.
Yes. And big knees up Mother Brown, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm regularly on the general discussion page. There's always someone who's got some information, so I love it. Yeah. It's great. Yes, it's excitement surrounded by imminent disappointment. That's what it mostly is.
Get on the forum at kumb.com. Come on, you irons.